This is the plaintiff, Misty. She says she purchased a $15,000 Porsche Cayenne from the defendant's shop, and she brought the car in to have it serviced because her seatbelt was broken. Someone stole the fuzzy pink dice hanging on her mirror, which she had for over 10 years, and the defendant refuses to fix her car or reimburse her for the dice. So she's suing for the $2,187.80 she's most definitely owed. This is the defendant, Deborah Dan. She says she performed a standard tune-up on the plaintiff's car, and her mechanic took the dice off the rearview mirror when he test drove it because it's illegal to drive with it. He placed the dice on her front seat. Nobody wants her old fuzzy dice. This is the first she's hearing of any kind of seatbelt issue. Oh, her? No way. She's accused of Porsche problems.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says she brought her Porsche to the defendants for service and says they broke her seat and stole her pink fuzzy dice. But the defendant says the mechanic had to take the dice off the mirror for the test drive and left them on the seat. It's the case of a Porsche Problema.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Misty, you are suing Statewide Auto Sales, represented here by Deborah Dan. You have authority by the owner to represent. You're the manager?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You're suing them for $2,187.80 in damages that you say you have sustained as a result of their negligence. Tell me what you say happened.
So in February of 2021, I took my vehicle in because I needed a replacement of a starter and I needed a battery. So the next day I noticed when I picked up my car that it was, my seatbelt panel was damaged.
When you say your seatbelt panel was damaged, what do you mean?
Meaning that I couldn't contract it.
It wouldn't retract? It wouldn't scoop back in when you pulled it?
Yes.
Okay. So did you bring that to their attention?
Yes, I did, the very next day.
And what did they say?
They told me to bring it in, that they would fix it.
Why would, if you brought it in to fix your starter, how would they have broken your seatbelt?
The battery is under, I needed a new battery. So the battery is under my seat. So they had to take out the whole seat to get to the battery.
Okay. So according to you, you bring that to their attention, and what do they say?
Yes, they said that they would go ahead and fix the
So did you
seatbelt
bring it back to them to fix?
Yes, I did.
When?
It was, honestly, I want to say I needed an oil change. So I took it about a couple of months back.
How much?
For an oil change.
When did you take it back? What month?
I want to say April.
Okay.
I needed an oil change.
All right. So you take it in April and they do an oil change. And do you tell them, hey, I also need you to fix the seatbelts you screwed up?
Yes, I told that to the maintenance manager, which is Ed.
Okay.
I told him. And then I also told Steve, which is the owner.
Okay.
I've never seen this defendant before.
Okay.
Spoken with
and
her.
What happened? You told them that, and then what happened?
So the oil change was complete, but the seatbelt panel was still not fixed.
So why didn't you just leave it there for them to fix it?
Well, if it already had been there, and they kept saying every time I take my vehicle there for repairs, they kept saying that they were going to fix it. They were going to fix it. Ed promised me he was going to get to it and never got to it.
Okay, go on.
So in October, I needed repairs done to the vehicle. October of 2021, I needed repairs done to the vehicle so I could pass my small check. And then I noticed of picking up my vehicle that my back seats were not latching. So after that, I had to leave my vehicle at least about a week and a half.
To do what? To do what?
So he could fix the latches in the back seat.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were falling forward.
What about the seatbelt? If it's going to be there another week and a half for that, why wasn't the seatbelt addressed?
I did address it, Miss.
Oh, so you Judge. Honor. So you told him, I'm going to leave it here another week, fix the seats and fix a seatbelt?
Yes, Judge.
And what happens?
Nothing.
Well, when you went to pick it up, what do you see?
I see that the seatbelt is still not fixed.
What about the latch?
The latch was fixed. They did fix that, yes.
All right. So did you say anything about the seatbelt at that point?
Yes, I did. Yes,
And
I did.
who did you say it to?
I said it to Ed, the maintenance manager, and Steve.
Okay. And what did they say? Did they
really
deny
kinda
having
just brushed
broken
it
the
off.
seatbelts?
Yes, they did. Yes.
Okay. And but they said they were going to fix it for you anyway as a courtesy, or were they going to charge you?
No, they were not going to charge me.
Okay. What were you hesitating for? You were going, whoa, what?
Well, because he kept brushing me off, saying that he was going to fix it, and every time I would ask and pick up my vehicle, it would never be fixed.
Okay. All right. Let me hear from you, Ms. Dan.
So in terms of the repairs, the vehicle, we were doing mechanic work on the vehicle. The battery of the vehicle is under the, under the hood. There would be no reason for us to ever take out the seat of the front
She
seat
says
of the
that
car.
she is claiming that the battery is under her seat.
No, that's not the case. It's the battery of the car is usually under the hood.
Well, yeah,
or in the
usually
trunk.
that's
It's
for
never
sure.
under
But
the
what
seat.
kind of car is this?
It's a Porsche.
What year?
2006.
Did you have any dealings with the plaintiff in this case?
No, I'm the office manager, so I do more of the clerical work. But I did speak with both Eddie and the owner, and they did tell me what the dealings were in this matter.
It's under the seat. My staff has checked, and the battery is under the seat. So it turns out she's right. You're wrong about that. So if it's under the seat, then it does make sense that possibly the seatbelt, when you're moving the seat and you're trying to move the seatbelt out of the way or something, that got messed up. She says that I don't know how you're going to testify for me because there are cases when you can send the office manager and there are cases when you can't. Everything she's testifying to are conversations she had with people complaining about the seatbelts, complaining about this, complaining about that. What are you going to be able to tell me about that, Ms. Dan? You're going to say someone told you that she didn't mention it?
The whole time she was complaining, my understanding was that she was complaining about the dice that were hanging on her mirror and how she was upset that the dice had been taken. That was like the whole scope of her complaints, that she wanted her dice and they took her dice, and she wanted $500 to replace these dice that cost a couple dollars.
What happened to her dice?
So the dice was hanging on her mirror, and when the person was
How
test
big
driving
were they?
the car, they looked like this. We purchased a pair online.
Okay, were they that big, Ms. Misty?
No, they were a little bit smaller than that, Your Honor.
Okay, so go on.
So it was about these dice that were hanging on her mirror.
Right. Well, where are the dice?
So they were hanging on her mirror, and when they test drove the car, they had to take it off because it was in their view of while they were driving. So they just took it off and they put it on her passenger seat.
But then she would have seen them on the passenger seat.
Correct.
And she says they weren't in the car. When did you notice your fuzzy dice were missing?
I noticed about, I want to say 2 weeks later.
But
because
why
I
2 weeks
didn't-
later? If you have fuzzy dice
Because-
hanging from it, it's like a pretty
Yes.
prominent thing. Like fuzzy dice people are not subtle about the fuzzy dice. Like they kind of want it, they want it there front and center. So how is it that it took you 2 weeks to realize the fuzzy dice was missing?
I wasn't, honestly, Your Honor, I wasn't focused on my dice not being there because they're always there. They're never
That's
taken
all the
down.
more reason to notice that they're not there if something is
Yeah.
magically missing.
Yeah,
All right, so
Your Honor,
according to you, Ms. Dan, she has never brought up the seatbelt thing before?
No,
Ever?
never.
That's what your
I've
people
never
told
spoke
you,
to
which
her
we call
before.
hearsay because you're not a witness to that. But that's
whole
what they
time the
told you.
complaint was
I have her
over the-
taking, and a chief complaint is not my concern. My concern is the statement she's never complained about the seatbelts.
Never complained about the seatbelt.
Okay.
And even
Here
for other
she is
complaints about
taking
the
video about the seatbelts in February. And where does this video take place, Ms. Misty?
it took place at the place.
At the dealership?
Yes.
Don't talk now.
That came off trying to put the seatbelt in. Every time I attract it attracts the seatbelt. It don't snap back. This is what I have to do every time. this. I just picked my truck up yesterday. Look at my
Oh
panel.
no, you didn't tape this at the place because you picked your truck up yesterday.
Second time we came up here, and they're charging her to fix her truck as far as auto work, but look what they're causing for her as far as interior work. This don't even make sense. Her seat not even latching.
This is October, right?
It's not latching.
Yes, miss. Yes, Judge.
Look at this. The seat won't latch.
Show my seatbelt on the other
Second time, I already did that, bro. Second time, they done messed her up. And the first time, she didn't even trip. She took it and just swallowed the bullet.
How are you going to prove to me? Here's the thing I'm concerned about. You told me that they always promised they'd fix the seatbelt. And yet you bring it in several times after that, months and months later. You bring it in April, you bring it in October, and you keep picking it up without them fixing the seatbelt. And I hear your friend saying, and she didn't even trip the first time. She just swallowed the bullet. It doesn't sound like there was some agreement that they would fix her seatbelt. It sounds like they denied they broke it.
No, ma'am. For some reason, they never got to it. And that's when I got, I was compelled to take them to court because they wouldn't fix it. And it kept,
They say it's all really about the fuzzy dice.
Your Honor, I had them dice.
Isn't it always?
I had them dice for 10 years that was gifted to me by a family member that's no longer here. So it's the dice are very sentimental with me.
What is this other thing you're suing for? $400 in gas?
It was actually $300 that I put down there. That was the round trip. It's actually 25 miles round trip to go there unnecessarily, to have to pick up my vehicle for that they damaged my seat latches to pick it up. That's round trip. Premium gas at $4.59 a gallon.
Why do you take it to a place that's so far? Why don't you take it by your house?
Well, Your Honor, per the contract that I signed when I bought the vehicle, I pay half of the cost of all the maintenance and repairs that's due to the vehicle, and
so you
then
have
I get
to take
oil
it there,
changes
right?
for free. Your Honor, if I may.
Yeah.
I tried to settle with them out of court before, and he did not want to. Steve said, "Go ahead and bring in your vehicle. We'll fix your seatbelt for you." Then he goes to say, "I said, well, go ahead and give me the $300 for my gas, round trip," and he didn't want to do that. So That's why we're here.
Welcome back to the People's Court. So the question, did the defendant screw up the plaintiff's Porsche, or is she just bitter because of her pink fuzzy dice? Let's go back into the courtroom and find out.
I think this is what happened, and I think I know what I'm talking
witness,
about.
Your Honor.
Yeah, let me hear from your witness before I say what I think happened. Go ahead, let me hear from your witness.
Okay.
How you doing, Your Honor?
Good. Are you the star of the video I was just looking at?
Yes.
Okay, raise your right hand, please.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, what's your name?
Name is Daryl.
All right, Daryl, were you ever there? I know you were there the day of the last video in October, but were you ever there with her on prior times when she was taking her car in?
Yes.
And did you ever hear any conversation about the seatbelt?
Yes.
And what was the conversation?
Conversation was that they were fixed the panels.
The seatbelt?
The seatbelt panels, correct. The seatbelt panels, and they were never fixed.
So tell me when they offered to fix the seatbelt.
After the oil change, I believe.
When was that? What month?
It was somewhere around, because it was my birthday was in September. Okay, October, and nothing was done.
What did you mean when you said she didn't even, what was the word you used?
Oh.
Trip. She just.
She didn't even bother to. She didn't make no fuss about it, Your Honor.
She just swallowed the bullet. What'd you mean by all that?
No, she did. Okay, look, this is what I meant. The first time the issue was brought up, Your Honor, she wasn't making a fuss like I was. I was making a fuss like I was really upset about this whole situation. And I told her over the period of time that these people been getting away with a lot of stuff. I know she's a woman. I know that.
Oh, what were you going to say right now? Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I'm sorry. No.
Go ahead.
A lot of times,
I got you. Go ahead.
Your Honor, at car dealerships, when a woman take a car in for repairs and stuff, and they don't have a gentleman with them or a man with them.
No,
the
just
repair
any
guy sometimes-
just any male genitalia isn't helpful. What's helpful is someone who knows about a car, whether they are a man or a woman.
Correct.
It doesn't matter whether they're a man or a woman. If they know about cars, just like in the car, at car dealerships, at mechanics, at anywhere, at anywhere, you know, the salesman has one leg up on you if you don't know what you're talking about. So that's all right. Listen, I don't know whether your manager or owner admitted to breaking it or just said as a matter of courtesy that they would fix it or what the deal is. But we do know that you're wrong about where the battery is. And if the battery's in the front, it would make no sense that they would have broken the seatbelt. This would be a slam dunk. But it turns out the battery's exactly where she says it is, under the seat in this model. I'm listening to the testimony of two people under oath, and no one on that side can contradict them at all because you don't have that kind of superpower, Ms. Dan. So, the owner and or the manager should have been here to talk about what the discussions were with them.
She did admit herself that she was trying to settle out of court for $300, and that there's a reason for that.
No. You weren't listening. You weren't listening. She was willing to settle out of court for $300 in gas money plus fix my seatbelt. That's what she said. Right?
Oh, okay.
Ms. Misty? Yeah, she wanted him to fix the seatbelt. She was mad that she had to go back and forth all those times. And that's kind of an indication that she feels entitled to the $300, even though I wouldn't have asked for that. I would have just gotten the stupid seatbelt fixed and been safe. You know, that's almost an indication of, yeah, you've been putting me on for a time. So, but I'm not going to order the gas because the gas is something you contemplated when you bought this car at that place with that warranty. Your necessity of going back and forth for repairs. I'm not going to order that. I'm going to order $11.99 for the dice, and I'm going to order the $1767.80 for the seatbelt panel for a total of $1,779.79. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the plaintiff prevails to the tune of over $1,700. She gets $11 for the dice. That's not bad. Ms. Dan, you're in a tough spot here. What do you think about the outcome of the case? What is your job or your boss going to think?
I think he's going to think it's wrong and not going to agree with it and be very unhappy with it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, he's not here to complain about it, so it's not much he can do about it at this point. The judge has made her decision.
All right.
All right, Ms. Misty, let me ask you something. You're getting $11 for the dice. How about that? Is that good enough for you?
No, not behind the sentimental value that it was gifted and my family member is no longer with us. No, it's not.
Well, you're getting $1,700, a little bit over $1,700. That's about it, and you don't get the money for the gas. I know you're upset about that, but that's it, okay?
Yeah. At least I'll get my seatbelt fixed.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for the case, and thank you very much. At least you did prevail. You're getting something back.
Okay, so this is interesting because here you got the plaintiff and a witness talking about what happened, and the defendant doesn't rebut any of it. This is a case where the plaintiff had the burden of proof. The plaintiff met the burden of proof because the defendant didn't rebut anything. When you go to court, you need to be armed with ammo. And even if the other side has the burden of proof, if you sit in your hands, guess what? You're going to lose.
Hi, I have a question about a case, a car accident. I had the green light with a green arrow, and I was turning left. The other person had a red light turning right, and they ran into me. Can I sue them?
Yes, you can sue them. I mean, if you have serious damages, you probably should. I mean, you have the right of way. You've two cars pointed at each other in an intersection. You have the right of way because you have a green arrow. You're making the left. And then somebody who's oncoming has a red light. And
they're
just
in the right-hand turn.
Right, and they're impatient,
turning.
and they just take their right on red and run into
Right, they're supposed to yield because they've got they can only turn right on red if there's no other
And you got to be
traffic.
really careful when you're making a right on red because you don't know. Sometimes an oncoming light, all you see when you're looking ahead of you is a red light, and you don't know if that oncoming light
has turned green, has an arrow, doesn't have an arrow. Right.
And sometimes an oncoming light has an extended green. That actually, I once got pulled over by a police officer.
Oh, yeah, I remember
taking
this.
my kids to school. I had 2 kids in the back seat, and they were little. They were like 7 and 8 years old. And I passed a police officer. I was headed northbound, and he was southbound, and he was sitting at the red light. Well, my light had an extended green that went for like 30 seconds after his went red. He didn't know that. So I just drove right through the green light, and I'm driving up the road, and all of a sudden, lights and siren, he turns around and hauls after me, pulls me over. He says, breathless, came up to the window and said, you know why I pulled you over? And I said, no, I have no idea why you pulled me over. I was handing him my license. He said, well, you ran the red light. I said, no, I didn't. My light was green. He goes, no, it was red. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, you are not
never gonna win on the road.
You're not gonna win. So, and he was very nice. He wasn't like, really being a jerk to me or anything. So I just said, yeah, I must have, I guess I haven't been getting enough sleep. I guess maybe I did run it, And then he said, well, I'm just gonna let you go with a warning, and he let me go on my way. And, I kind of turned to the kids. I go, the light was green, right? And they go, yeah.
That'll do it for this session of the People's Court. See ya.